Okay, the purpose of today's exercise is to show you how to start a piece of pre-printed design onto fabric. So I have my pre-printed design. I've now got a Sashiko needle which has got a very sharp point and a big eye, and I've got some Sashiko thread. Now I don't want to use a knot, so I'm going to show you my method of a lock stitch, and that will keep your piece nice and flat and won't have any knots on the back. So I'm going to do this little dragonfly here, and this is the pathway that I would take to stitch this little dragonfly. Okay, so I'm going to say that's my start point, and I'm going to go this way. So I'm going to bring my needle up at what would be the end of the fourth stitch. So I'm going to, from the back, I'm going to bring my needle through to the end of the fourth stitch. I'm going to leave a little tail on the back, and I'm going to gauge my stitch length with the point of my needle. Now this is all very well when you have a pre-printed stitch length already on there, but this is the method I use, especially for when you don't have it pre-printed and you might just have a line drawing that you've traced onto. Then I actually stretch my fabric just so that the threads or the stitches stay on top of the fabric and not in the grain of the fabric. So then I turn it over, I bring back my little tail, and I'll go through under the stitch and encompass my little tail. And I do that for the 4 stitches that I just did, or the 3 stitches I just did. Okay, so we now have a very secure start stitch that won't come out and you don't have a knot. So then I'm going to bring my stitch up at what would be the beginning of the 5th stitch in my stitch line. And again, I'm going to be folding my fabric onto my needle so that I can get a perfect stitch that I require. Now I'm just going to leave it like that because I'm going to use that stitch and that stitch at the one time. Pull my thread through, put my thumb on the entry point, just lightly stretch my fabric. Don't stretch it too hard, or what you'll find is the thread will come apart and you won't be able to get it back looking like a single. Look, you want your stitch to feel like or look like a grain of rice. And I just leave a little bit of a loop every time I turn direction on the back. I just leave a little bit of a loop. It helps to keep it nice and flat as well. So then I finish the rest of my tail on my little dragonfly. And of course, if you've got a larger needle, then you would be able to put more stitches on at the one time. The less times you pull your thread through the fabric, the better condition that your thread will be in, because it doesn't tend to fray as much. So that's why we put lots and lots of stitches on. So just stretch it just a little bit. Okay, it's nice and flat. And my little stitches are looking like little lovely round plump rolls of rice. So then I'm going to go up to the next part of my little dragonfly. Always stretch your fabric before you go on to the next bit. And I'm just going to go over and do one wing for you. When you get a pre-printed piece of fabric, always ask your supplier if it washes out. Some do, some don't. And if you want to manipulate designs, which is what we'll be doing in a further blog down the track, if they don't wash out, well, you can't manipulate your designs, and you might want to put your spin on a design. You like the design, but you might want to take some of the design out or change it or change the look of it, which is what you can do with a lot of the geometric designs. Pull my thread. As you can see, when I'm going around corners, I just do one stitch. I find it's much easier. You can see that I'm using the point of my needle to gauge my stitch length. It's easy when you've got a pre-printed piece, but when you come to draw a straight line that you've drawn, then you'll find that the point of the needle is very helpful in gauging your stitches. Still putting my thumb on the entry point, then I stretch it, and I'm going to finish off here just for the purpose of a demonstration. I'm going to the back and I'm going to whip back through the last few stitches. And I've got a little pair of scissors here. So what I do then is I cut my thread, and I just leave a little tail there because then that frays and it helps to keep it in there as well. So that's how to start and finish a little pre-printed design of Sashiko.